A number of years ago, I was in the habit of walking to Starbucks, which at that time was in the Vineyards, Market Crossing, is that the name of it? Something like that, anyway. It's not there anymore. I used to go up there in the morning, couldn't wait to have my little cup of oatmeal and some Starbucks coffee, and that would get my day off to a real kick. That Starbucks is powerful stuff. So one morning, I'm walking up Vineyards Boulevard, and a car stops, and the man sticks his head out the window, and he says, "Be careful, there's an alligator over here." I don't like alligators. And so what am I going to do? I want to get my coffee and my oatmeal, but I don't want to go back home either, because I just don't take the walk. So I see a car coming, and I wave the car down. Lo and behold, it's a police car. I mean, it couldn't get any better than this. And he says, "How can I help you?" And I said, "Officer, there's an alligator around here someplace, and I don't want to meet him. So could you take me to Starbucks?" He said, "Sure, hop in." So I hop in the car, and then some friends of mine were waiting for me over there, and they see the police car with me in the police car. What the heck do you do, So anyway, I get there, and I said to the officer, really, these Cuyahoga County sheriffs, they're big buddies of mine. And I said to him, "Why don't you come on and have a cup of coffee with me? It's on me." He says, "All right." So he comes in, he's having coffee, and then his walkie-talkie goes off. They still call them walkie-talkie? What do they call them? I don't know. Anyway, it says, "Alligator spotted near Physicians Regional Hospital." I said, "Whoa!" So he says, "I got to go over there." I said, "Can I come with you?" He said, "Oh, sure, hop in." We were friends by now, So we go over there, he has the lights on. And we're going up the driveway, and there it is, a big old alligator. But he looked pretty still. So, when I let the officer get out of the car first, he goes over and he says, "He looks like he's dead." So I said, "Oh," so I get out of the car. And he says, "Yeah, look, his leg is run over." Poor alligator had his leg run over, It was a good place to get run over in front of the hospital. So he takes out his club. And I'm like, "I'm right behind you, officer, right behind you." And he goes like that. The alligator didn't move. I said, "It looks pretty dead to me." So he goes, "Let's try the other side." "All right, you go first." And bing, doesn't move. Finally, he kicks the gator in the tail. And boom! I went, "Ah!" I was screaming, I was terrified. I was afraid the alligator might have liked Italian food. I was standing. All right. Now, why do I tell you that story? Because, you see, the devil is like that alligator. He plays possum on us. Makes us think he's dead. He's not around. He can't do us any harm. Until it gets kicked in the tuchus. If you speak Yiddish, it's tuchus. In Polish, it's dupa. I won't go any further, I'll get in trouble. Now, this week, the last couple of weeks, the devil got kicked in the tuchus. You know what happened? This certain kicker for the Kansas City Chiefs, Butker, gave a speech at graduation in a Catholic college, Benedictine, in Kansas. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something. It's one of the finest speeches I ever heard. I wish I gave it. When you get a chance, I'm sure you can find it online. Go and listen. to this speech. He said some terrible things. He said, abortion is wrong. Oh my God, how could you say such a thing? At a college commencement. Then he said, women should have babies. It's very fulfilling to be a mother. He told women to stay in the kitchen and not pursue a career. He never said that. I listened to the speech. Then he said, you're not going to believe this. Fathers should take responsibility for their families. Oh my. Oh my. He was talking about the nuclear family. Mother, father, and children. And how parents have an obligation to bring children into the world. Then he said, this gets worse. Then he says, and it's the job of the parents, mother and father. I mean, these days, you say mother and father. I mean, you're not open. There might not be a mother and a father. You got mother and father. He said mother and father. And he said, they should work together so that the whole family could get to heaven. And that's something. Mother and father with children, they should work together to get the family into heaven. Then he said, Pride Month is coming up. It used to be the month of the Sacred Heart. You remember June, the month of the Sacred Heart? Now it's Pride Month. And he said, he questions that. He says, I don't think that certain expressions of human sexuality are appropriate. And we shouldn't be celebrating Pride Month. Terrible. How could he say that? He wasn't being inclusive. He wasn't being inclusive. Do you see what's happened to our society? When the devil heard the truth, he whipped his tail around and had his teeth ready to bite. And the cultural elites of our society jumped on Butker and said, you can't say that. Mr. Butker, you can't say that. We want you to be canceled. We're going to cancel you. Some said, should kick him off the team. Kick him off the team. Because he talked about traditional Catholic values. Traditional Catholic values. And then, here's the kicker from the kicker. He said, go to Mass. How do you like that? Well, right away, you have the media, liberal media, saying how terrible this was. It wasn't DEI, it wasn't diverse, it wasn't inclusive. How can anyone believe that he had the gall to say such a thing? And of course, then, we have the great scholars on The View. Whoopi was beside herself, condemning what he said. And for 2 weeks, this has gone on. For 2 weeks, this has gone on with people condemning him. And then, of course, you have some people say, well, he has a right to say it, but I disagree with him. So his teammate, Kelsey, the tight end, he said he could tolerate it, but certainly something he could not agree with. So he's a good guy. The world says, hey, Travis Kelsey is a good guy. He recognizes that people have free speech in this country. Maybe. How long before free speech comes to an end? How long before freedom of religion comes to an end, unless it's the right religion? And when religion becomes part of the culture, religion doesn't challenge the culture, all society is in danger. And when the church doesn't challenge the culture, the church is not fulfilling the gospel command. You heard it today. Go out to all the world and tell what I have commanded you. The church is under persecution. If the church is not being persecuted, the church is not fulfilling the gospel message. It's not fulfilling its mission. Jesus said very clearly, as the world has hated me, so it will also hate you. And if the church is just like every other institution and just going along for the sake of getting along, the church is not fulfilling the gospel command. Bishop Sheen said this. He said, how do you know which is the true church? He said, the one that's being persecuted, that's the true church. And we've been skating along for too long, not speaking the truth. Not speaking the truth. In Matthew's Gospel, we have the Beatitudes. The last Beatitude sums it all up. See, Matthew's Gospel is a takeoff on the Old Testament, the Torah. Like the Ten Commandments in the Old Testament, Deuteronomy, Matthew gives the new law, the Beatitudes. It's the law. He says this, blessed are you when men hate you and persecute you and utter every kind of slander against you because of me. Rejoice and be glad, for your reward will be great in heaven. Your ancestors treated the prophets in just the same way. God bless Harrison Butker. Amen.